So it's starting now. Just click the button that says got it. Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, great. And we're gonna introduce the whole thing and then we'll get into a conversation.
Perfect.
Okay. So thank you for being here now, Satish, with us. I'm Kevin from Meditation Magazine. This is my sister Tamar. And I just wanted to give you a little idea of our magazine because I know that you're in the UK and we do have magazines in Magazine Heaven over there. I don't know if you know those guys, but we're much more in the United States and Whole Foods, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Sprouts, all of those places. Yeah. So we've done really interesting issues with Amma and Wim Hof. I don't know if you know him, and Sadhguru and
Sadhguru,
yeah, Deepak Chopra and people like that.
Yes.
We are very excited to talk to you today because our next issue is called the Earth Issue, and it's very focused on our connection with Mother Earth and our intimate, our actually being nature. You know, not just helping with nature, but actually being nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, this has been a deep passion of mine for many years. And Tamar, it's become very central for her path. So for me, my path was mostly meditation and things like that. And Tamar went deeper into the earth work and the nature. And she ended up at Schumacher. And that's where she became very familiar with your work. And when we started doing the Earth Issue, she said, we need to talk to Satish. So that is, I'm very excited to be talking to you about this today. I just wanted to point out to anybody who's watching, the love is understanding in the background. I love that that poster that you have in the background. That's a Thich Nhat Hanh quote, right? That's a Thich Nhat Hanh quote.
Yeah, and it is a calligraphy by Thich Nhat Hanh himself, written by him, his own handwriting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Did you ever meet him?
Yes, many times.
Oh wow!
Many times. Yeah, first time I met him in 1968.
Wow.
When he had just come back, he was in exile and he was living in Paris, and he was already starting campaign for peace. And so 1968, and then I met many times, and I went to Plum Village as well.
Well, that's awesome. We were sad to hear of his passing recently. And it's a sad thing, but we know that, you know, Thich Nhat Hanh, of all people, saw life and death in that way of a continuation of nature.
He lived a very good life, and he was an avatar. Yeah. And so we have to just like many great beings come in the world, and they give their message, and then they go, and they are going so that we can continue their work. They don't want to just stay there forever and take responsibility. They want to continue that work through us. So he has gone, sad, but also he has left us behind so that we can continue his work.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, thank you. So before we get into the discussion about the earth and spirituality, I'd like to, we usually start these conversations with a meditation to set the tone of the conversation. And Kumar has told me that you, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a short meditation. I wanted to read it to you.
Oh, nice.
It's only one and a half minute.
That's perfect.
Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
I think I have it somewhere. Here it is. So should I start with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. In India, when we greet somebody, we bring our both palms together. The right palm represents the world. The left palm represents the self. By bringing the right and left palm together, we unite the world and the self. And once we have brought our two palms together, then we bow to sacred life, sacred soil, sacred earth, and sacred universe. We see all beings in us and ourselves in all beings. We see whole universe in ourselves and ourselves in the whole universe. Each one of us are a microcosm of macrocosm. Cosmos is our country. The planet Earth is our common home. Nature is our nationality. And love is our true religion. All living beings are sustained by the same breath of life. Thus, through our breath, we are all connected. We are all related. We are interbeings. We all share a single origin. Unity and diversity dance together. All our thriving is mutual. When separation and divisions end, suffering ceases. We go beyond right and wrong, beyond good and bad, and then we bow to the unity of life. We bow to the diversity of forms. We bow to the sacred, to life, to the earth, to the universe. And we breathe in and we breathe out. And then we smile, relax, and let go. We let go of all expectations, all attachments, and all anxieties. We let go of all worries and fears and anger. We let go of ego. And we move from ego to eco. And then we breathe in, deep breath. And as we breathe out, we smile. We relax. And we let go. And we feel at home. We feel at home in our body, in our spirit, in our consciousness. And we feel at home on this precious planet Earth, our common home.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Wow. Where did that meditation come from? Was that a Thich Nhat Hanh meditation?
This is, I have composed it.
Nice.
So these are my, I mean, it's not my words, but I have received from Thich Nhat Hanh, from the Buddha, from Jain, from Dalai Lama, from Sadhguru, from many, many great teachers, what I have learned, but I put those words together.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for that just wonderful acknowledgement of our interconnectedness as not only human beings, but also spiritual communicators, which I think all of us, Sadhguru and everyone, all the people that you mentioned have received these words and understandings and realizations from generations past and from the source as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is that sometimes human beings think that they are separate from nature. They are separate from the earth. But that is not the case. The word human comes from humus. And humus means soil. So human beings are literally soil beings. We are made of the earth. And therefore, we have to act like earth. Earth is very generous because when you put one seed in the ground, the earth, the soil, with the help of water and the sunshine, will regenerate and multiply that one seed into 1,000 fruit, 1,000 apples, 1,000 oranges, 1,000 mangoes, 1,000 bananas, whatever, or grain. So we humans are soil beings, nature beings. We are nature. Nature is not separate from us. And therefore, we need to be like the earth and be kind and generous to all other living beings.
Yes.
When we are able to be the earth, not just be on the earth, not with the earth, but be the earth, because we are the earth, then we can be like the earth. And the earth contains water. So we can be like water. Water quenches the thirst of all living beings. Soil, the earth, and water don't say that I will quench the thirst of only those who are good people, only saints, only wise people. No, water does not discriminate. Whoever you are a saint or a sinner. You are educated or uneducated. You are black or white. You are human, animals, birds, insects. Whoever you are, grass, water will quench the thirst of all living beings. So we need to be like water. We are 70% water. So we need to be like water and quench the thirst of all living beings and be the bridge over the water for those who want to cross over the water. And the bridge does not discriminate. Bridge does not say, I will allow only the saints and the good people to walk over me and not the sinners and not the bad people. Even if somebody harms me, I have to wish them, and I do wish them happiness and wisdom. Even if somebody hurts me, somebody abuses me, I wish them happiness and wisdom. That is the quality of being the earth and being like nature. Word nature comes from Latin, which means birth. A woman has a prenatal check before the birth. After the birth, we have a postnatal check. So the natal and nature come from the same origin. So we are nature. This is why I say in my prayer, our nationality is nature. Yeah. Because nation word also comes from natal. Natal, nation, native. If you are native of New York, means you are born in New York. If I'm a native of India, I'm born in India. So nature, native, nation, nativity, natal, all these words come from the same root. So we are born. So we are nature. Wow. How can we say we are separate from nature and we dominate nature, we conquer nature? That is a complete misunderstanding.
Wow, that was so beautiful. And first of all, I love linguistics, and that was just so like music to my ears of how you tied all those words together back to their root. And it's that is so beautiful. I just wanted to, something that you brought up was that, and I know we're going to get into all the other stuff in a minute because Tamar has a whole bunch of questions for you, but the idea of man as a soil being or humans as beings of the earth, it's such an ancient wisdom. When you were talking about it, it reminded me of Adam, like Adam in the Bible. And that word Adam means earth. That Adam, it literally means earth, and that was the first human. And so
that's very lovely. That's even more connection. Excellent.
And so the Bible has that, and I really loved what Alan Watts said about this. I don't know if you're familiar with Alan Watts from like a few centuries.
Yes, I have read his books.
Yeah, and I just love that he had said that we humans, we grow out of the earth in the same way that apples grow out of an apple tree. So like an apple tree apples and the earth peoples. I just thought that was just a really beautiful sort of way to...
Absolutely, yeah. Our bodies are made of the earth. Our food is made of the earth. Earth transformed is food. Our clothes are made of the earth because wool, cotton, everything is earth transformed. Soil transformed into food. And this is the miracle of nature. Nature loves diversity. Evolution favors diversity. In the beginning of the time, at the time of the Big Bang, there were no animals, there were no trees, there were no humans, there were no bees and birds. But over the billions of years, nature has worked hard to create this diversity. So now you get thousands of kinds of fruit and vegetables and grains, and the same apple will have 100 varieties, same rice, but we'll have 100 or 1,000 varieties of rice. So diversity is the essence of nature. And so we should celebrate diversity. This is why I say we bow to the diversity of forms. But behind that diversity, there's a unity of life. And the unity and diversity dancing together. That is my prayer.
Yes, the many and the one together. And Tamar,
Yeah.
I wanted Tamar to go along with our questions because we only have a limited time and we could talk for hours. I know we could talk for hours, all three of us. So
and I think
go
we
ahead.
just jumped to the essence of the conversation and in a beautiful way started this conversation from the deepest point of who we are. And I just want to bring it back to the individual path a little bit and just start off also to introduce you to our readers and to those listening who may not be familiar with you. So if you'd allow me, I'd love to introduce you also just for a moment.
Yes, yes.
Listening.
No problem.
And thank you so much, Satish, for being here. It's really wonderful to see you again. But for those who don't know, Satish Kumar is a peace activist, a philosopher, an author, and much more. He's the founder of Schumacher College in Devon in the UK and the editor emeritus of Resurgence and Ecologist magazine, and just overall inspiring human who walks this world in pilgrimage and connection to Earth and all its living beings, as we've just heard in this conversation. So thank you for being here. And maybe just to start, I've heard a lot of your story before, but if you can share some of your journey of how you've come to be in this place in your life and what are the kind of defining moments that brought you here?
Yes, Tamar, thank you for your very kind introduction. My life started as a Jain monk. For 9 years in India, I was a monk. And so for 9 years, I walked bare feet and had no money. And I begged for the food. So every day I will go with a begging bowl and beg for the food and only eat once a day. Even from age 9, when I became a monk, once a day you go out. I went out to beg for food and eat once a day. So that's how my life started. And at that time, I started to learn meditation. In the morning, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. And from 4 a.m. to 5 or 5:30 a.m., I will meditate. Then in the evening, before going to bed, for 1 hour, I will meditate. And then I was learning how to meditate as a way of life. Not only in the morning and evening, because that is a good practice to learn and to remember and to practice. But all your day, every word you speak, every action you perform, every thought you think, they should all be mindful and heartful. And then you are in meditation all the time. So meditation is not only when you sit down, cross-legged, closed eyes, and meditate. That is a good practice, but that should permeate throughout the day. That's what I learned. And then I became a member of a Gandhian community. That was an ashram. And I lived in an ashram for about 7, 8 years. And again, like a Jain monk in the ashram, I lived a very simple life. I learned to grow food. I learned to cook food. I learned to value and appreciate the dignity of manual work. Because when you are gardening, it's a meditation. When you are cooking, also meditation. Gardening and cooking should be done out of love. And when you do with love, then your work becomes spiritual practice. And so everything you do not for money, not for power, not for name, not for fame, not for prestige, not to impress anybody, but just as a service to humanity. When you do like that, that is meditation. And that is spirituality. So spirituality and meditation became a way of life. And then at age 26, I left India on foot and walked two and a half years from New Delhi, from the grave of Mahatma Gandhi to Moscow, through Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Russia. And then from Moscow, I went to Belarus, Poland, Germany, Belgium, France. And then I took a boat from Calais to Dover, and from Dover to London, and then London to Southampton. and then I took a boat to New York, and then from New York to Washington, D.C. And I ended my peace pilgrimage at the grave of John F. Kennedy. And so I started from the grave of Mahatma Gandhi and ended at the grave of John Kennedy. And I had a great fortune of meeting Martin Luther King after my walk of 8,000 miles. And so that was my pilgrimage for peace. But I always said the peace is not only the absence of war. Peace is in your heart. Peace within you. You have to have peace of mind. If you are not at peace, if you don't love yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't be at peace with yourself, you cannot make peace with the world. So you have to be peaceful within your heart. Be peace rather than just speak about peace. So being peace was my kind of message as well as my practice. And then I also said the peace is not only with humans. Also, we have to make peace with the earth. At the moment, the way humanity is acting and behaving is like being at war with nature. The way we put animals in factory farms, 10,000 pigs, 20,000 chickens, 20,000 cows or more in a factory. And a kind of, these animals never see the light of the day all their life. That is violence to nature. And the way we are farming, that's violence to nature. The way we are destroying our rainforest in Amazon and in many other parts of the world, that is violence and war against nature. The way we are putting plastic in the oceans and sewage in the rivers, that is violence and that is war against nature. So making peace with yourself, making peace with nature and with planet Earth, our common home, and making peace with people. Making peace with people means believing that we are one humanity. Whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Jain, or you are American or Russian or Chinese, whether you are black or white, whether you are male or female, you are educated, uneducated, whoever you are, we are one humanity. And before we are English or Americans or Russians or Chinese or Hindus or Muslims, we are human beings. And that's why we make peace with all human beings. So peace within yourself, peace with nature, and peace with people. That was my mission for 2.5 years. And then I came to England and I became editor of Resurgence magazine. And so I edited Resurgence magazine for 40 years. And then in 1991, I started Schumacher College, to which you came, Tamar. So that was a wonderful thing to do. And so last 30 years, we have been running Schumacher College, and the people from all over the world come to learn about unity between humans and nature, and believing that humans are as much nature as animals or forests or birds or mountains or rivers or oceans. So this unity of humans and nature, and learning about Gaia, that Earth is not a dead rock. Nature is not a machine, but nature and Earth are living organisms, and they have a consciousness, they have intelligence, they have wisdom, they have spirit. And that kind of idea of deep ecology, which started by Arne Naess, and the Gaia, which started by Lynn Margulis and James Lovelock, and we teach at Schumacher College. So that has been my life story, in a nutshell.
Wow.
It's quite a nut.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I'm always so happy to hear it. And I wanted to start because there was something that really stayed with me from my master's. And there was a moment, I was in the holistic science master's, and there was a module called Mind in Nature. And for one day you joined us on it, and you took us on a pilgrimage, a short one, to the River Dart. And we walked along the River Dart, and you told us about having and cultivating a romantic relationship with nature, and this kind of romance that you can live into on a day-to-day basis. And it's really stayed with me and has shifted my personal relationship, where, I mean, I had connection and different relationship with nature before, but really seeing it in that love, a love way. And I just want to ask you to share with us how you cultivate that and what that does to your life as you develop.
I mean, like when we fall in love with another person, with another man or woman, that is considered as a romantic love, which is very beautiful. I love romantic love between humans, and also erotic love between humans is very beautiful. But that should not be limited only between humans. When we feel a sense of awe and wonder and amazement to see how seeds become trees, and how trees bring blossom, and how blossoms become fruit, and how fruit ripen and become sweet and juicy and delicious, and how we eat them and feel nourished and nurtured. That kind of magic and miracle of nature is amazing. And therefore, we have to fall in love with nature. And as you love humans, you love nature. So that romantic love of the trees and birds and bees and a ladybird and earthworms and the streams and rivers, that is a kind of, nature is the imagination itself, as William Blake said. So when we can start to talk to trees, and we can start to talk to rocks, and we can start to talk to rivers, and feel one with them, and feel so awed and wondered and amazed. And when we are in marriage, it's a kind of marriage with nature. It's a kind of, when I am by the sea and I see a rainbow, and when I am seeing the waves of the sea, I am in love. And that love is like being married to nature. I'm married to nature. I'm married to planet Earth. So that is so it's not just a kind of intellectual relationship, or it's a kind of a pragmatic relationship. That, okay, I garden because garden will give me fruit and vegetables and the flowers, and the river will give me water. So that's a kind of utilitarian relationship. But you don't marry a woman or a man just because a man will bring some money, or man will cook some food for you, or woman will do something, bring your children or something. That is a very pragmatic and practical part, which is very helpful, very useful, of course. But there is a more to that relationship between man and woman, or between man and man, woman, but man and woman. But the same way, there is a practical relationship with nature, but also the romantic and emotional and a spiritual relationship with nature. And that's what I feel.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, that is beautiful.
And you always speak to this love, which I appreciate so much. Like in the fireside chats that you have at Schumacher College, where you gather with whoever is there, you always say the topic of every night is love.
Yes,
tonight's topic is love. And,
exactly, yeah.
And I think that's
I always start with saying subject tonight is love, because anything I say is love, because love is the foundation upon which we stand. And so if we do everything, speak every word with love, act everything you do, gardening, cooking, writing, speaking, sending an email, writing, doing any work, teaching, medicine, any business, politics, anything you do, if you do it with love, that becomes meditation, and that becomes fulfilling. That becomes a source of joy and a source of bliss. If you do it only for money and only for prestige and power and name and fame and so on, that doesn't bring you any joy or bliss or happiness, because whatever you get is never enough. Money is never enough. Power and prestige is never enough. But when you do love, love is abundant and yet always enough. Never shortage of love, and it's always enough. So that abundance and a sufficiency is in love. And this is why I say, this is why understanding is love, and love is letting go of fear. Love is letting go of ego. Love is letting go of doubt. Love is letting go of separation. When we feel united and together, then we are in love. And being in love with nature is the greatest love. And when you are in love with nature, your mind expands and you are in love with cosmos.
Yeah.
And I want to bring the conversation also into this topic of nonviolence, and how do we bring about peace in ourselves, in nature, with each other. And recognizing that we live in turbulent times, as many cultures of humanity have, where war exists and where forces vie for control and power, often through violence. My question to you is, and it's something I hold deeply, is how do we live into peace and nonviolence and act in our lives when there are these forces? And just to share, our grandmother was a Holocaust survivor. So I've thought about this a lot in this case of where the United States and other countries came in and ended the violence there, but also through violence. So when we talk about nonviolence, how do we face these powers that will try to inflict pain for their own needs? And how do we end it?
Yeah, it's a very good question. You know, our task in the world is to always try to do our best to bring peace to people and peace to nature. We may never completely succeed. We may never completely abolish all violence, but we can reduce violence. And we can reduce animosity, and we can reduce conflict. And so what we can do is we start with ourselves and be peace ourselves and be the change that we want to see in the world. And then once you have an embodiment of love and peace and nonviolence, then you communicate that message. Like Thich Nhat Hanh communicated, like the Dalai Lama communicated, like the Mother Teresa communicated, like Wangari Maathai, like Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. All these people were very good communicators. So we all need to learn to communicate our message of love for the earth, love for planet, common home, our planet Earth, love for people, and love of ourselves. Communication through poetry, through music, through art, through meditation, through writing, through any means that you can find. Communication is the most important thing. And then organize the change. We have to organize, get people together, like we start Schumacher College, you are Vegetation Magazine, Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace, many other good organizations are organizing to influence people, like Greta Thunberg is organizing things, Fridays for the Future, that kind of thing. So these are the three things we can do to influence the world and improve the world. Be the change, communicate the change, and organize the change. And that's all we can do. We have to remain hopeful, because always there is a hope. If we have no hope, we cannot do anything. We have to be an activist, but optimistic activist. To be a good activist, you have to be an optimist. If you are a pessimist, you cannot be an activist. And we have to be an activist to transform the world, change the world, bring some new. Mahatma Gandhi was an activist. Martin Luther King was an activist. Vandana Shiva is an activist. Many wonderful people in the world, and you can see many examples in the United States who have been activists. So be an activist and be an optimist, do your best, and then like Thich Nhat Hanh has gone, but he has left the work for us to do, next generation will pick it up. And slowly, maybe not in our lifetime, but slowly, world will improve and will bring a better world, a better relationship between humans and nature, and between humans and humans.
Wow, Thank you. Do you have any other questions? I did have one thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. On this topic, and this is like a difficult question. I don't even know if you can have an answer for this, but we're talking about, being an activist to try to help reduce the violence in the world. And we're all doing that. You're doing that. We're doing that with Meditation Magazine, and Vandana Shiva is doing it. And all of these peace activists are doing that. And but then there are some situations that become very extreme. So when you walked across the world, it was during the Cold War, right? And you were walking because of that. And now, strangely, we find ourselves in an extension of that situation. where in Eastern Europe, there's major problem, with Ukraine and Russia. And it seems almost like there's nothing that we can do about it as individuals. We try to say, hey, this is not good, and we'd want to support Ukraine and all these things. We want to be supportive of peace, but at a certain point, those interventions only go so far, and then there are countries like the United States and others in the West that sometimes take more, you could say, violent action by going and actually entering wars, like they did in World War II. Do you feel that this type of violent intervention is sometimes necessary? And if so, how can we do that in a way that is conscious?
No, violent intervention is neither necessary nor justified at any time. Because anybody can justify their violent intervention, but that is not justified. Russia can justify their violence. The European countries who are supporting Ukraine, they can justify their violence. Justifying violence is not the right way. What we have to do, America, Europe, India, China, all of us, all the world, have to say to Russia and say to Ukraine that you cannot change your location. You cannot change geography. Forever, you have to live as neighbors. You have to live. Now, either you can live in friendship and mutual respect, or you can live as enemies. Which is better for you? Do you want to live forever as enemies, or do you want to live as friends? So Russia need not be afraid of Europe and America. So America and Europe have to show that Russia has to feel confident that it doesn't need to be afraid and threatened. And Ukraine and Europe also have to be assured that Russia is not a threat to them. So finding a common ground, finding a common consciousness, common understanding that how we live together as neighbors and friends, and they can do trade with Europe, you can do trade with Russia, you can trade with China, you can trade with anybody you want. You can be free, but you are free to live as friends. Freedom is not to be free as enemies. Freedom is not freedom to be angry and kill each other. That's not a good freedom. The freedom to love, freedom to be friends, freedom to be good neighbors, that's the true freedom. And freedom to kill each other is a misunderstanding of freedom. So I think Ukraine must stop fighting back. Russia must stop fighting with Ukraine. And if Ukraine wants to do non-violent resistance, all these citizens of Ukraine can stand there without arms, without tank, without weapons, without aeroplanes, and say, we are here, non-violent resistant, like Mahatma Gandhi would say. If you kill us, you kill us, but we are not going to kill you back. This is what in my meditation I said, even those who do harm to us, we have to wish them happiness and joy and wisdom. If the Ukrainians were totally disarmed and did not fight back, Russians cannot fight. Russians cannot kill unarmed people. They can only kill, they will only kill if you are fighting back. So, a non-violent resistance. And then I will go with the Ukrainians. I will stand there unarmed, and I will ask Germans and French and Americans and Indians and British. We all go to Ukraine unarmed and say, if you want to kill us, we are prepared to die for the good cause, but we are not prepared to kill anybody for any cause. There's no cause good enough to kill each other. But there are good causes for which we can die. We are prepared to die for a good cause, but we are not prepared to kill for a good cause. That is the non-violent resistance that we have to learn. That was the message of Mahatma Gandhi. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in jail. And he, in the end, won. And apartheid came to an end. Martin Luther King, 29 times he was in jail. Václav Havel in Czechoslovakia, he was in jail. So we have many, many wonderful examples of non-violent resistance. So if Russians are aggressive, we will resist, but resist non-violently, without killing. We are prepared to die, but we are not prepared to kill for any good cause. That should be the way, because Russians and Ukrainians have to live next to each other as neighbors, and they cannot live forever as enemies. They have to live like friends. And no war, nobody can win war. America is the biggest and the most powerful and the highest amount of money spent on military, on Pentagon and bombs and tanks and guns. And yet America failed to win war in Vietnam. America failed to win war in Afghanistan. America failed to win war in Iraq and Syria. If America could not win, how could Russia win any war in Ukraine? Russia is going to fail. Ukraine is going to fail. If anybody who thinks that they can win a war in this modern day, they are living in a cloud cuckoo land. Nobody can win a war. War has become obsolete, out of date. War is useless. So they are completely fools and stupid to think that they can win war. You cannot win war, and you cannot win the hearts and minds of people with weapons. You have to win the hearts and minds of people with love. And therefore, war is totally futile. And the people saying they are educated, highly educated, Biden and Putin and Modi and Macron and Boris Johnson, all these highly educated people, but they are completely mindless to think that they can win war. War, if you take the history of the wars since Vietnam War, Iraq War, Iran War, Afghanistan War, Kashmir War, all the wars, nobody wins. It's a complete waste of time.
Wow, that was a really beautiful and powerful perspective on war and peace. And I think that's something that we really need in the discourse today. I wish we had more people like you on the news here instead of people all parroting one side or another of a debate that doesn't include love and only includes basically violence or yeah, all those things.
And also the thing is that war is not only in Ukraine and Russia. There's a war going on with the earth. The way we are creating global warming, climate change, pollution of air, pollution of water, pollution of oceans, pollution of air with greenhouse gases. That is war. And we, humanity, are not just being violent to other people. We are being violent to earth and nature. So we have to wake up and change our way of life so that we can live in harmony with our beautiful, precious, amazing planet home, planet Earth. This is our only home, and we are destroying it. This is a heaven. This planet home is our heaven. So beautiful, so amazing, so wonderful, colorful, beautiful fragrance, beautiful everything. And we think, oh, no, it's just a resource for the economy. We have to just make money. You can cut down the rainforest to make money. You can pollute the ocean to make money. You can dig. You know, the oil we dig from the earth is a dark energy. And the energy which is coming from the hell, because the hell is underground. And so we dig down to get coal and fossil fuel of every kind, gas, oil. That's energy from the hell. If you bring energy from the hell, you create hell on earth. So we have to go for the energy from heaven. The energy from sun is heavenly energy. Energy from rain and water is heavenly energy. Energy from wind is a heavenly energy. So if you use energy from heaven, you will create heaven on earth. What do you want to create on earth? Heaven or hell? At the moment, we are hell-bent on creating hell on earth by bringing energy from the hell. And energy from the hell is so costly. You have to mining, you have to go digging oil, you have to go underground, you have to put so much human life on danger. But the energy coming from heaven is all free, completely as a gift to you. So why we are not wise enough to use the energy from heaven, sun, wind, rain, water, use that energy, which is a free gift, And you don't have to centralize it. Sun is everywhere on the earth. Rain is everywhere on the earth. Wind is everywhere on the earth. But the coal and oil is only in a few places. Why are we not being wise? And why are we not waking up to make earth as a heaven by using heavenly energy and not use hell energy, dark energy, and make this planet Earth a hell?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
And hopefully we are waking up to it and switching more and more. I mean, both exist on this planet at this moment, heaven and hell, and in each of us.
And I think you have enough material there. I have to unfortunately go. But it's a great pleasure to meet you both, brother and sister.
You too.
And you are doing wonderful work with Meditation Magazine. And it was a great pleasure to have you, Tamar, at Schumacher College. And also, I hope your brother can also come one day and do a course there. Even you can do for a short course. You can come for 1 week or 2 weeks. You don't have to come a whole year like your sister. And so come again. And it was a pleasure to meet you and wish you every success with your magazine.
Thank you so much, Satish.
Wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
Evening.
And send us pictures of yourself in nature if you have any high resolution pictures that we can use in the magazine. Okay.
We'll follow up
okay. You write to me.
I will.
You have Elaine is my PA. Elaine.
I have
Elaine and maybe Schumacher College. I don't keep photos. So, but Elaine or Schumacher College can help you.
Perfect.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. Have a beautiful
Bye-bye.
day. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.